Tonight on Reality Right After, Sutton is mute. Kyle's crystal shatters along with her credibility. Dorit goes full maid road mafia. And Jennifer Tilly is crushing snacks while chaos unfolds. Yes, this was only part 2 of the reunion, and somehow we still haven't reached to the bottom of PK's text thread. Buckle up, because honestly, we're diving headfirst into the mess that is the Real Housewives of Potomac. You see, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion part 2. Reality Right After starts now. Joining me tonight is someone who always brings the sharpest insights. Our beloved TRR correspondent. Hi, Justin Colon. Welcome back.
Hey y'all, it's been a little minute. Not that long, but I'm back. Hey guys.
How are you?
I'm good. Enjoying my little time off from the girls of Potomac, ready to dive into Beverly Hills.
But a correspondent's work is never done.
Never
right?
done. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. More things are coming.
And making his Reality Right After debut, he's the host of the award-winning podcast ByLatinMen, and always has the hot take that'll stop you mid-scroll. Welcome, Anthony Polanco.
Hello.
How are you? I'm so excited to finally have you on the show.
I'm finally here. I was supposed to make my debut during Potomac, I think, but I got stuck at work.
Yeah.
But here I am. Yeah, you know, my comments on Reality Rundown do get a lot of likes, child.
Honey, like, the people been like, it's at this point, that's what I do. Like, I go in the comments and I'm like, who is it that is always being under the comments causing mess? Let's bring them over to Reality Right After, because clearly you have a lot to say.
Like 1,000 and Anthony, likes, and they be arguing by themselves, but I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say what I gotta say.
Anthony be having the girls going crazy. The castmates, whew, honey. I love it. Castmates, remember to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Reality Right After, and of course for everything reality TV, the Reality Rundown. Before we get into it, tell the people about your the RHOBH after show that you guys are doing.
Who says RHOBH?
So
the Dominican popped out.
The Dominican popped out. The RHOBH. So Anthony and I joined forces, and we're doing a weekly after show. It was only supposed to be Atlanta, but we are diving into Married to Medicine. The show is called Peachy Shade in the A, and you know, Married to Medicine is in the A too. Yes. So yeah. And I think it's been going good. We've been getting to the nitty gritty. We're trying to get a grasp of
it was the technology. It was the fucking StreamYard, child. But we gonna get it. I worked it out this weekend when I recorded ByLatinMen. But
okay.
I think the reason it works is because I don't like nobody he like, and that's what happens in the comments too. I'll never like the person that's like the most popular on social media and stuff like that, because and I'm gonna call them out.
Yeah. No, and I also think that it creates good conversation when it's not just the same opinion going around, you know, because sometimes people are just like, okay, you guys are just agreeing with each other. What's going on?
Listening to the read. But this is not the read. No, you can go to the read for that.
I'm a mover.
I don't want to give you
right.
I listen to the read, but they are kumbaya. I'm not about kumbaya.
Right.
No, yeah, we be going back and forth about the quad of it all and the Simone of it all. So you already know who
disrespect these women. Like, talk about the.
Wait, oh my God! So I might need to, like. I mean, I didn't really recap Married to Medicine on Reality Right After, but I did want to do like a part 1 and part 2 overall recap of the season, and I might tap you in for that.
Let's do that.
Since you guys are talking Married to Medicine already, over on the other side of the country, we pick up post lunch. Garcelle is over it, and Sutton is getting very emotional about how hard it is that Garcelle is being ganged up on. Garcelle and Sutton talk about the gang up on Garcelle. Sutton gets emotional, saying that it was really hard to see the ladies go at it with Garcelle that way. Both ladies are ready to go home. Do you guys feel like Sutton's emotion was coming from guilt or empathy when it came to the Garcelle gang up? Anthony?
I think it is sympathy. I am a Sutton fan. I don't think that Sutton is fake. I don't think that Sutton tries to buy friends. I think Sutton is a real person who dealt with a lot of trauma as a only child and not getting that affection. Is he the only child, or she had a sibling and he passed away? She the only child?
I'm not sure on that information, so I don't want to say either or.
Okay.
But she participates as an
No,
only
I
child.
think she is the only child, or she had a sibling that passed away at a young age, and her dad also passed away, and she was a daddy's girl. And her mother just never showed her that kind of love. So, I mean, we saw that side on this season, but when it comes to Garcelle, I think that they were real friends. But when it comes to Kyle, it's more like she wants Kyle's acceptance or approval when Garcelle, she already have it. Like, when you have best friends, right? If one best friend you already know where you're at and you're already there, you're not giving that as much attention as the one that you're still working on or trying to get something from. It's just weird, but it happens.
Justin, how do you feel about the situation? Was it empathy or was it guilt?
I'm finally gonna agree with Anthony.
Look at that.
I think that it is. I don't think that it's sympathy. I think that it's empathy, for sure. I mean, I don't think that it's guilt. I think that she, just like Anthony said, is looking for the acceptance from Kyle, and it's getting Garcelle really upset. But I do think that she feels for Garcelle for sure.
Right. Some of the people on
I just
go
wanted
ahead,
to
Anthony.
add that
I'm sorry.
I feel like she feels like she let Garcelle down because Garcelle already said why she was upset with Sutton and why she didn't defend her in that episode when they were on the boat. But she feels bad because it happened in real time again in the reunion.
Right. And I think that also you can kind of see, knowing now that Garcelle quit the show, you can kind of see that Garcelle is kind of over it. And she, maybe if she had more fight in her to stay and had the mentality that I'm coming back to this show for next season, I would have also called out Sutton backstage and said, and also you over here, you're not safe because I already clocked you in the season and I already told you that you were supposed to stick up for me, but you didn't. And now here we're down to the reunion and I'm getting ate up by the entire right couch, left, whatever. I don't know which side I'm looking at. And then you're just standing right here. And then when I even call you to the carpet about what you said about Kyle off camera, you try to lie about it. So Sutton, what's tea?
Deny. Lie.
Sutton, what's tea? And I think that we need to really address that relationship because Garcelle has not been nothing but loyal to Sutton, even to a fault.
It is to a fault. It is
I agree, 100%.
The only reason we're talking about it is because it's to a fault. Now, I want to rebut that. That was a great recap of something that would happen on Real Housewives of Atlanta with Nene and Cynthia. But Garcelle is not that woman. Like, Garcelle doesn't feel like she needs to compete. She doesn't feel like she should have to do that to a real friend. Like, either we're friends or not. So either you're going to give me what you're going to give me as a friend, and if you don't, then we don't need to be friends. That's just how she is, and that's why she hasn't really moved on or improved on her friendships with Erica and Kyle, because they're not that deep. They don't get that far. Or with Dorit. The reason Garcelle and Dorit don't get that far is because the apologies are fake. They don't really see each other outside the show. They don't have deep conversation. So it never goes that far. But I think that, first of all, I don't think Garcelle got eaten up by the right couch. Garcelle held her own. She stood on what she said, and she said it again.
Period.
And she didn't apologize for anything. And I feel like the best thing she could do at that time, or when they took a break, was go backstage because she was about to come out of character. And that's not who she is. Like, she's not someone to curse somebody out or get like that on TV. So I'm glad she did it backstage.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. On that. Well, there's a quick cut to Kathy getting ready, bragging about how good her chicken is. Iconic chaos energy from Kathy, always. Back on stage, Andy gives Garcelle space to address Kyle. Garcelle says, and I quote, Kyle, I feel like there was things you told me off camera to shut me up. Kyle defends herself and said, that was me trusting you. It was about Morgan Wade, but that was me opening up and trusting you as a friend and, you know, hoping that you would take that in. And that's when Garcelle points out that when you said that to me off camera and Sutton was right next to me, Sutton, what did you say? And Sutton starts gagging. Well, I said that, yeah, she protects Morgan. And Garcelle, no, that's not what you said. What you said was that was a chess move.
Yep. Absolutely.
But Sutton didn't deny it. Then she agreed.
Hold on now. She lied.
Wait, how did she lie?
She lied.
She lied because she knew what she said, and Garcelle knew exactly what she said too, and she didn't say what she said. And then, one thing about reality right after, we're gonna put the patterns together.
Yes. Put the pieces together, right?
Honey, put the pieces together. See if things are relating. Baby, Sutton, you is talking about that was a chess move. Now, looking back at last year's reunion, Kyle sending that text message to Dorit, which they also considered it a chess move.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody already agreed that Kyle plays chess.
Everybody feels that Kyle plays the entire cast and moves pawns.
Right.
Andy, yeah.
Go ahead, Justin.
Sorry. I think that Kyle is manipulative. I think she knows exactly what she's doing by speaking to Garcelle off camera. It's saying without saying, bitch, do not talk about this on camera. Period.
But you know what? I don't think that I think Kyle is very smart and she's very manipulative, but that's why she's still the queen of RHOBH.
And it's no shade.
Still the queen because of that, whether you like her or not. Like, she knows how to do reality TV, and then she knows how to play dumb. So, like, you can like, she can do that, right? And that's what she wanted to do. But then she could be like, no, what I actually meant was blah blah blah, and put on the tears. But I don't think that Kyle would think that Garcelle would be that stupid. So I think what she was trying to do is, maybe if I act like I'm trying to get to know you and I want you to feel bad for me, you won't try to embarrass me on camera, because they didn't have a good pass. So they know Garcelle has no hair on her tongue and she's good for calling shit out on the table. So I think Kyle felt like, let me try it. But when it didn't work, Kyle just said, I hope I have a good story to say. Like, it didn't do that.
But it didn't work because Kyle had an enemy in Sutton that she didn't know about. Because if Sutton wouldn't have been there and said that was a chess move, I actually think that Garcelle would have taken what Kyle said to her as, wow, she's actually opening up to me something that I've been asking her to do for the last 5 years.
Because one thing about Garcelle, she's going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
She is. She is. She really listens. So I feel like if Sutton wouldn't have been there, it could have been a different thing.
I can look at it the other way, because I'm looking at it as, if Sutton would have said at the dinner and on the trip, no, Kyle, but you said XYZ and we feel like that was a chess move, Kyle would have looked crazy on TV. And everybody would have came after her for trying to be like a chess player and control everything and produce. Nobody likes a producer. So if they would have called her out for that, then she would have had more to answer for at this reunion. But Sutton stayed shut, which is why Garcelle was so pissed. Because Garcelle was like, bitch, and they just had a talk in the fucking villa. So she knew that it was going to come up at the dinner table, and you just stay shut.
Where Kyle messed up at is creating this whole storyline last season with she who may not be named, or who she doesn't want to be named on the show, and then acting like everyone else is crazy for bringing it up and getting mad at people for bringing it up. When you brought this on the show last season.
I have to agree with you.
You're the one who brought it to light. You brought it to the show. You made it public. You were on paparazzi to get your man mad, in my opinion. You made it a thing. So you can't get mad at your cast members for having more questions and making it a thing during your divorce.
And no shade, I don't see Beyonce getting caught by paparazzi. I don't see Rihanna getting caught by paparazzi. I don't see Nicki Minaj getting caught by paparazzi. Kyle Richards, hold my hand when I tell you this. Baby, stop calling the paparazzi if you actually don't want people looking at you and Morgan in that way. There's no way that the paparazzi are at the gas station. I'm sorry.
Or spotting her backstage. Like, not even backstage, on the side of the stage looking crazy. But also, we don't even have to go to Beyonce. Kathy Hilton, who loves photos and posts every day, don't get spotted.
And it's more of a socialite.
And she's actually has way more money. Like,
no, like she's like Hollywood royalty. Go ahead, Justin.
Exactly. What I didn't like what Kyle did was villainize Garcelle for telling her, like, girl, if you want to be a lesbian, be a lesbian. She made it a whole big thing when, girl, that was you put that out there last season. So you manipulating your whole cast to, like, why are you guys asking me this? What is happening? Oh my God. Don't want to talk about it on camera. I already said I don't want to talk about it on camera, but Garcelle clocked her at the reunion. Well, she's not a part of this season, but she was part of last season. So what's up? It's too late now. The can of worms have been opened, honey.
Yep. Pandora's box is...
Exactly.
I mean, Kyle is doing nothing different than Karen on Potomac. Nothing different than Portia not wanting to talk about how she stole my man. So, like, that's just always part of the season. But I feel like if Garcelle wasn't as upset about how the reunion was going, because, like she said, she was like, I didn't know I was going to be the villain. Like, everybody attacking me when Sutton is the one that was the villain on TV. But everybody kept saying, even other podcasts that I listen to, they would say, oh, this is Sutton's worst season. Like, watch, she looks so bad. She might not come back. And I'm like, Sutton didn't look bad unless you're a fan of Dorit. Like, that's the only way you look bad, because she gave Dorit whatever Dorit gave her. That's it. But other than that, she shared her life, and she was the same Sutton that she's always is. But I wish in the moment when Kyle tried to flip that she wasn't being manipulative and she was trying to be a deep friend, she should have been like, oh, okay, so if we were growing our friendship, when I was joking about you should just be a lesbian, you shouldn't have taken it as an insult. Which in the first part of the reunion, she fucking dragged her like, oh, you know what you were doing. You were insulting me. You did it on TV. You embarrassed me. But I thought that we were building a friendship. What happened?
Right. We were down to the Chuck E. Cheese for Erica's birthday. But also...
Right.
Also, it's like... It's really hard because, listen, I don't want anybody to feel like they're being outed or anybody feel like their sexual orientation is being played with. I feel like us as gay men, we know how sensitive that can be, and there's so cycle and a process to coming out of the closet. But honey,
a music video with a love interest,
I can't be showing up to high school with nails, a wig, and a pink tutu and get mad that the girls are calling me gay. It's no shade. You can't be, if you're a girl, you can't be sagging your pants, wearing Timbs and stitch braids down to your back, and then be mad that they're calling you what they're calling you.
Exactly.
What you present to the world is what you get back, especially in these times. Like, people are not trying to figure you out. They're gonna see what you're presenting, and then take it. So it was a rumor that Mauricio was being unfaithful, and then there was a rumor that you were being emotionally involved somewhere else. Turns out then later that this rumor is about the fact that you might be involved with a woman. Then it's this whole like undercover thing that season. Ooh. Then the next season comes, you actually bring the woman that you were rumored to be dating on the show. You get tattoos.
On camera.
On camera.
On camera.
Then you film. No, she was mic'd. She was part of the call sheet, honey. There was one mic for Morgan. Then you shoot a video where you're kissing, making out with a strawberry, pouring things in each other, showering together, whatever it is, all the kumbaya. Girl,
I mean,
at this point, listen, at this point, I'm a gay elder because in gay years it's like, at this point, as a gay elder in the community, I'm about to take all your cards away, and I'm actually gonna rebuke your entrance into this community because you're playing with us.
Yeah. Period.
You're playing with us.
She's not
You're
playing with
us.
She's playing with the straight people who's questioning her. Cause she don't mind it coming from us.
But
she don't.
No, I think Wellington is saying that she's trying to dip her foot in and out of our community.
Oh,
yes, like this is not. You know what I'm saying? Like she's playing with us in the sense of like,
are you in
it's either are you in or you're out, and if you're out, then say it. That's just my girlfriend. I don't know why y'all think I'm gay. I've been with my man for the longest, and since when have I ever given gay to y'all? If it's not a thing, like I've never seen anybody that's really not gay be so like in the gray about it, because actually no, you're sus, you're DL, whatever it is. So my whole thing is like, you are too big of a celebrity, you are too big of a person, of an entity, especially in the Real Housewives universe, to be playing around with sexuality like this, teasing it, and then getting mad at people questioning something that you know. That's why Andy called it out. You're on a reality show about your life. What do you say to the people who want you to show everything?
But she was asked at the reunion last year, plain out, are you dating Morgan? And she could not answer it. And then Kathy would have to say, oh, I think they're friends. Like, what? Like, I don't understand. And even the women ask her, like, when they ask you a blatant out question, is yes or no? Like, you know what she is? Right. She fits in the community in the side of the terrible DLs. The DLs that are DL, but they're at the gay club. Or they have their photos on the apps. Like, how are you DL? I'm confused.
But no shade. Maybe Kyle is DL, allegedly. Kyle, is it allegedly? Anyway,
Kyle being DL is taking me out. Kyle being DL.
Maybe Kyle is DL because Morgan is forcing her to be DL.
Well, that's what she's trying to say.
After you sign to be on the show, this is where I don't get it. This is where it's confusing.
No, but why? But you don't have to say you're a lesbian. Why can't you say you bi? Or why can't you say I don't like labels, but I'm dating a woman?
Kyle's the one who made it weird. She could have came on the show as her friend. They made it weird with the paparazzi and everything. That's what Kyle did. It wasn't us. We really don't give a fuck. Guys, none of us care.
Like, honestly, no one is gagged that you're dating a woman.
No one
girl,
cares.
Get your pussy licked. You 55.
No one
get your pussy licked,
that
girl.
much, girl.
Your husband haven't been licking it. He's been licking pussy in Spain. Like, just get the things. But don't act oblivious or crazy when you're asked about it on a TV show. First of all, you thought you was doing something getting back at your husband, who the rumor for him cheating is from when the show started season 1. First of all. So that rumor is not new. But now that you feel like y'all not on the same level, he's not home all the time, he's always traveling, you're heading to a separation, instead of doing that before starting to date, you decide to date on TV. Like, how are you feeling? How are you a victim? Or how you feel like you're being outed or pressured? Nobody told you to bring her on.
Right. Nobody. And no one told you to go in deep into that storyline either, and even tease it the way that you've been teasing this entire situation with her. I have a question though, and this is to play devil's advocate a little bit because reality redactor is unbiased, and at the end of the day, we try to see everything from different point of views. Is it fair to expect cast members to fully reveal their most personal relationships on camera when you have the likes of Jenna Lyons on New York City that has a girlfriend that she does not show, and she's really not even questioned about it like that, or they don't even really care
by the other cast members. But the difference is with not only Jenna, there's a lot of people that don't show their partner. But if you never did, then you could just say that I'm not gonna do it. But if you started with it, like Robin, you can't come on the show and the storyline is that you divorced your husband, y'all got back together, and then for 5 years you're getting married. You can now say I don't want to film with him or we don't want to talk about it. If you're Jenna Lyons and you say my partner is private, that's it. They're not getting paid to be on the show, so they don't want to be on the show. That's it. I have a partner. That's it.
They're not. Jenna Lyons is not bringing it in and out of the show.
And like just like Garcelle said, like, what am I not showing? Like, first of all, Erica was just trying to get a moment when she said what she said. Oh, you're just not that interesting. Erica is always trying to say something for clickbait, just like on Watch What Happens Live, and even on this episode, she said, "Oh, I just said it to be messy." Yeah, that's all you can do because you have nothing going on. Your whole season was remodeling a 2,000 square foot home that you say you paid $30,000 for, and it's like you have nothing going on. We don't see you dating. We didn't see you go visit that man or talk to that man on the phone. We don't see nothing about your life. You're just at every event, and you're supporting the cast. You're supporting cast, but you're telling Garcelle, who Garcelle participated on every trip. She went with Sutton. Garcelle opens up about her children's life, her dating life, even though she's not showing you who she's dating. Why would I put somebody on TV that I'm not with? That makes no sense.
But also, I have to hold Erica's hands to the fire a little bit. And also, castmates, I implore you to go listen to our part 1 recap with Taria and Chase, because we got into it about Erica in that part 1 recap, and I think it's very important, the conversations that we were having there. And one of the things that I'm gonna bring from that conversation is that, Erica, you are demanding Garcelle, well, who are you dating? Show us who you're dating, like who you're fucking. But you've been saying since you left Tom that you've been fucking and writing and everybody. I'm not exaggerating. That's what you said. That's what you've been having a lot of fun and you've been getting a lot of dick. How come we haven't seen Nan one?
What was interesting about Erica this season? Like, tell me one thing she did.
Nothing. She did nothing.
Also, isn't it a bad investment to remodel a rental?
Yes.
She's renting?
That's what I heard. I don't know. Allegedly, I don't want to go on the record with that.
You just did. Like,
I'm a journalist.
I thought she bought the house for like $700,000 or something like that. But even if she did, again, if that was the only thing you did this season, you should be shut at the reunion and take your seat at the far end of the couch and just sit down and shut up. Why are you trying to get a moment off of Garcelle? Garcelle, first of all, she's an established actress. She's more interesting than you can ever be. You're a failed sugar baby. You want to say that you love this man, but then as soon as y'all break up, you're talking about how his dick never worked and you fucking everybody now. But she plays both sides in the same season. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, she just thinks that she's playing to the cameras. But I don't know one thing that Erica did this season for a storyline. Not one.
Nothing. Absolutely zip nothing. And it's okay for some of the OGs or some of the girls who've been on the show for a long time.
The veterans
to take an off season, but don't take an off season and then demand things from the rest of the cast. Like, you could take a chill season and, like, go on the cast trips and do, because Erica's has had a lot of heavy seasons. But if you're going to take an off season and just chill with the ladies this season and not have so much heat on you, don't demand anything from Garcelle or anybody else when you're not showing up this season. You know what I mean?
And point of clarification, Erica Jane does not own her home. She lives in a $1.5 million Los Angeles rental after downsizing from the Pasadena mansion that she shared with her ex-husband
and got
Tom
kicked out of,
Girardi.
yes.
So yeah, remodeling a rental. I hope that she's renting to buy. I hope she's renting to buy.
That could be it. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
But people were dragging her
she's
too
renting
because
to buy.
they said that designer.
That designer what?
He's an expensive designer, like for home remodeling, and he did her whole house for $30,000. Is like he really did it for promotion on the show because he would not do that for $30,000.
Yeah, no, that was a deal. But also, I'm sorry, but I don't feel bad about throwing some light shade on the fact that Erica rents her home, because Erica sat on that chair and tried to throw shade at Garcelle owning a beach house. And to me, I don't play around when it comes to black wealth. I don't play around when it comes to black people that made it through the mud and actually buying properties, creating generational wealth. And here comes, a white blonde lady from Georgia trying to throw shade, talking about your beach is in like she was trying to make it seem like Garcelle's beach house was in like not a nice part of town or something. Yeah, and it's just like, so you want to throw shade at someone that actually owns her house? Well, again, it's a bad investment to remodel your rental.
Whoa, I love that. Can I just add, Garcelle doesn't live in Beverly Hills, but she owns her house where she lives, and she has another home, a beach house. You live in a rental.
Right.
And I think the reason why they jumped on Garcelle about the Dorit comment is because it hit both of them. Brokey, both of y'all. Stop picking on me. Pick on somebody with the same curse.
Come on.
Clock it. To get into some other things, Kyle, Dorit, and the text thread that broke Bravo. Erica says she's got PTSD from last year's reunion because of Dorit's text with Kyle. Dorit says she felt Kyle broke the friendship on Amazon Live when she said that they were not as close. Kyle apologizes to Dorit. Erica clowns her for the vein in her forehead. And Kyle and Pique's text thread gets unpacked. Dorit says to Kyle, "Do you understand how fucked up it is that you were texting my husband?" Let's pause here.
Okay.
Justin.
Please. Yes.
Is Dorit justified in how hurt she is? Or is this reunion reach behavior?
I think, and I don't usually agree with Dorit. I don't. A lot of the things that comes out of her mouth is just like, she just yells to yell. But 100% Kyle broke the girl code. 1,000%. Dorit's reaction is 100% justified. I think that Kyle acts dumb when it's approached, because if it was done to her, she would have a conniption. Mm-hmm. She would cause hell. Kyle has been crying on this show every episode since season 1. So we're over the tears. Like, you crying about, oh my God, it wasn't like that. Like, girl, if Dorit is saying that hurt her and that broke girl code and broke her trust, then you have nothing else to say but, okay, I apologize, I won't do it again. But her trying to justify it after she said you broke girl code didn't sit well with me at all.
Can I? But do we believe that Dorit really hurt over that? That's
100%. I think so.
I have a problem believing that, because you're right? Like, she is justified to feel her type of way about being betrayed by Kyle, but a season long, the whole season and the reunion, you still talking about this fucking text? Like, if you listen to Kyle, you don't have to like the Kyle. Again, Kyle, I can talk bad and good about her because she is the queen and you're not perfect, right? In this situation, Kyle said it. We were not friends. Like, from the last reunion, we were not close, period. And then Dorit tried to justify her answer on Watch What Happens Live. If we're not close, why are you talking about me or trying to be funny or shady? Then why I don't have to respond to your text. So if we haven't text in months, let's take Dorit side. Dorit said, I text you for your birthday, you never responded. So we haven't text in months until the reunion. When I text you for the reunion, you said I was being a chess player. And so we're not friends at this point. They were not friends at this point. And Dorit came into the season not being friends with Kyle, right? What
Right.
loyalty did Kyle owe Dorit to say, "Oh, I text PK to check on him during the divorce"? Who gives a fuck? That one text, it ain't like that text thread. You would think that it said that they were flirting, talking shit about Dorit. No, like there's nothing there except
Kyle lied though. Kyle lied, saying it
I
was just.
didn't
I
lie.
just
Kyle
feel
should have
like,
said it right away. But what I'm saying is it that was the actual receipt that crazy to drag it for no reason?
I mean, I think
As
that they
a
even
friend, sorry, go Wellington.
no, I was just gonna say that I think that they even mentioned in the reunion that no one really thought that it was salacious messages between them going on, or like, oh, PK
Right.
and Kyle are hooking up, like that. No one really thought that. Let's be honest.
But they thought that they were talking shit about
But
the
I think they thought that somehow, because at the end of the day, let's call it spade a spade. PK is the queen. PK likes to talk a lot of shit, and it just is what it is. So let's not act like PK was not down to Kyle's phone talking mad shit about Dorit.
But
it is in PK's behavior.
Dorit said, he tells me everything. I know every time you call and text him. So what are we talking about?
But I think that's why she's mad, because if I know what you've been saying to my husband, and then you're trying to downplay it in front of me, talking about it's not that serious, we only send each other emojis, but I know what you've been texting him because I've been through his phone. Bitch, you fake. Justin?
True.
I think that even though they weren't talking, we know and they know that they were eventually going to speak and be friends again. So they're in it. That's it. It's not like they're acquaintances. It's not like they were friends. So if me and my friend are going through something, you won't catch me dead texting his man. Ever about nothing, especially that we're both going through a breakup. I need your advice. No, that is just not bro code. It's not girl code. Like, period, point blank, whether we're good or whether we're not good. And whether, if we're not, even if, let's say me and my bestie, right? Even if we're not good and his ex would text me, I would text him and be like, yo, I just want you to know, even though we're not talking, this is what I got today from your ex.
Right. And also, like, and I feel like it would have been a great thing for Kyle to be like, the first time they meet in this new season, hey, I know that we haven't really been talking a lot like that, and I know that me and you still have conversations that we need to get through in order to find ourselves where we used to be. But I want you to know PK did reach out to me, and I left it at that, but I just wanted you to know that. I think that a lot of the girls need to understand that if they get in front of their mess is not there to
like to put on display and drag her out. But I agree with that. So if it's the case that Dorit knew and was trying to catch Kyle in a lie, it would have been more impactful if at the table when Kyle says, we just send memes, no, bitch, you're lying because I saw the text. Instead of waiting episodes for Kyle to volunteer it to Bose, because if Kyle didn't show it to Bose, nobody would know. So, like, this would have been a failed storyline. Dorit wouldn't have had much of a storyline if Kyle didn't do that. But second of all, I agree with what y'all saying about talking to somebody's ex. But this is different. They were friends as couples, right? Both married couples for 5 years, hanging out, going on vacations together. They knew that they text each other already. And she said, you know I text PK. But she's like, but you shouldn't be texting PK if we're not talking. If we're not talking, you shouldn't be talking to him. That's not realistic in my eyes. Because I feel like if you're friends to both, not just, you're friends to both, they're married. You're not doing anything messy. You're trying to see what's going on, and you might try to help them reconcile, because Dorit to this day don't want that divorce. She's broke. She need the money. She can't pay that mortgage. The house is in foreclosure because she can't pay that mortgage. But anyway.
I disagree, because like I've been really close to my best friend's men, right? But once they say clip it, it's a whole clip.
But did she
period?
But you know what? Anthony, I'm gonna throw you a bone. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I have these two friends. They've been in a relationship for over 12 years. So at this point, they're locked in. They're engaged. They just got engaged recently. So they've been locked in for the longest. You know, this is a relationship that it's not going anywhere. And there was a point where they weren't in a good space, right? And even though I have the one friend who was like my OG friend, and then, you know, they got together with this person, even though I met his boyfriend through him. We've been friends for 12 years. So it's like I know both of them, and at this point, these are two of like my brothers, you know? So even though they weren't in a good space, and I guess if the relationship was more juvenile, I would have done what I've been saying in the sense of like, well, if my friend is not fucking with you, I'm not fucking with you either. But here are, now that I'm thinking about it, and no shade to myself, here are my two friends that they've been in a relationship that's almost a marriage, to be completely honest. They lived together for many years. They weren't really in a good space. My friend didn't tell me, oh, but just because we're not good, you cannot speak to my boyfriend. You know, I was able to speak with both of them, check in on the both of them, and one will vent me about the other and vice versa. So now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I can understand where Kyle is, but the one thing I did in the situation that Kyle didn't do was that
tell your friends.
whatever the other one told me, I went to the other one.
No, that's being messy. But
not in the sense of like,
Welly.
no, not in the sense like that. I'm saying in the sense of like, listen, I had a conversation with your man.
So you're trying to help them get back together.
These are
I get that.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying is like, I have a best friend like 18 years, right? And she's married. And I know her man, they've been married for 7, 8 years. Oh no, I think it's gonna be 10 years now. Yeah, they got married in 2015. 10-year marriage, right? The father to my godchild. If they were going through something, unless my best friend said he beat the shit out of me, or it's over, we getting a divorce, like I'm done, that's the only way I wouldn't reach out to them. If they're just separated, going through something, then I would still reach out to them and I would try to find out what's going on. But even Kyle, like, again, the text that Kyle sent him was like, listen, I know y'all going through a tough time. If you need a friend, I'm here. And I will never repeat anything you said. That's it.
Weird to me. That's weird to me. That's weird to me.
I wouldn't repeat everything you said.
Where she fucked up.
Anything you say to me, because it makes it seem like, one, we've been talking shit. And I do agree with Kyle. Like, bitch, I was talking about production. I was talking about this show. I was talking about, this stuff. And that could have been the thing, but it was the fact that you were sneaky about it. And when you're sneaky about something,
all the time, man. She sets herself up all the time. Go ahead, Wellington. I'm sorry.
No, like when you're sneaky about a situation, you cannot expect people to feel that you're being truthful, that you're being honest when you have been, and especially on the brink of this Morgan stuff that we already feel like you're being dishonest about. So now we feel like you're being dishonest about everything. No shade.
Okay. 100%. 100%.
So Kyle drops a crystal. Everyone freaks out about the bad juju in the room. Andy plays a clip from Bose's podcast where she called Kyle a liar. And Kyle says, and I quote, "I've never been accused of being a liar." What? That's a lie. And I'm not saying you are a liar, but you have been accused of being one. Yeah. Bose says, and I quote, "Well, you admitted the truth, and admitting the truth is a lie." And that's the thing when it comes to going back and forth with Bose, is that, honey, she has her supporting evidence, her works cited, and her APA style paper ready to go. So you better make sure that what you're about to come crazy at her about, you got it down pat.
Right.
Dorit reveals Kyle called PK immediately after their Oceanside fight.
Okay.
Which was another thing. Like, girl, I just clocked you about the fact that you were texting my man. Now I'm hearing that you called them after me and you were going at it while we were filming.
I'm the devil's advocate still, because...
What do you make of Dorit saying PK tells her everything?
Well, what I'm going to say, if Kyle was pressed by everybody at that table, right, to show the text or whatever, or like, you shouldn't be texting him, and why are you sending him memes, or they don't believe that you only send memes, I'm going to call him and be like, did you say something? Like, why do they think that it's something different? That's one. But two, again, if Dorit already knows everything, why are you not saying it? I don't think she did know, to be honest. I don't think she did know. She's saying it now.
I think
Dorit
said that she knew. I think Dorit said she knew to make her not look dumb and out of the loop. Like, my man and my bestie are keeping me out of something that is weird. So for her to save face on the show, yeah, because I've done that before. Knew that.
Right.
I knew.
Next.
You
Right.
didn't have to tell me. I
Right.
knew. You know what I mean? So
I will say that it gives a little bit of that because how come PK has not been communicating with you all this time, and then out of nowhere you're also like being kept in the loop of all of PK conversations and text messages.
This light bulb just went off. The reason why Dorit was so mad at Kyle is because PK was actually texting Kyle back, and Dorit wasn't getting a call or text back.
Ooh. Wow.
I think that's the real issue. How you got more access to my current husband that we're separated with?
Yikes.
In that case, Dorit's justified. Nah.
You see where you get messy? Down, we're over here going, everything's happening, yada, yada, yada. And here's Jennifer Tilly eating snacks, honey.
That was iconic.
And I love that the editors went and like made sure that they went up on the mic when she was crackling on them snacks.
Yeah.
And to zoom in.
One thing about them rich ladies, when they want to eat, they want to eat. When they want to do whatever they want to do, they want to do whatever they want to do. They do not care.
They eat a lot. All of them.
They eat a lot.
All of them.
She won't say how much she makes from The Simpsons. Dorit felt like Jennifer had turned to the dark side after her after show comments. Jennifer apologizes a little bit to Dorit about the situation. What do you think about that little situation? I actually am glad that they kind of like spot the light on Jennifer Tilly a little bit. I do feel like, yeah, she's a great comedic relief to the show. But I would love to see her, even her when talking about her experience on the show. Beverly Hills has this thing of bringing in friends that are just iconic figures, and they kind of get to be in the show, but they're also watching the show happen.
Yeah.
And because they're fans of the show itself. So, to be completely honest, this is no shade to any of the Tillys, but I am not in the business of watching fans be on these shows to just watch what's going on. If you're not going to get into it, if you're not going to actually edge friendships with these ladies, if you're not actually going to get into the nitty-gritty of this show and do, I guess, what's required of you as a friend of, what's the point?
What are you
What's
doing?
the point?
What
like, because
of,
you're funny?
But I have to disagree because I feel like she's a friend of. She's not holding a diamond. So she doesn't.
She's not holding a diamond, but at least get into some of the conversations.
But I don't think that's her job.
I agree.
I think her job is to support her friend and have conversations with her friend and film with her friend. And she did that. And that's why Dorit felt type of way about her confessionals and her scenes with Sutton. I think that she is. I don't think she's a fan of the show because she don't know half of these bitches. I think she just be be looking at it like, are they really arguing? Like she said today, she said, y'all don't get tired of arguing. Like that's too much work. Like she really be thinking that you're going to a dinner. Oh, we're gonna eat. We don't eat at dinners, ma'am. On these shows, like this food never come out.
Not as baddies. Anyways, Kathy arrives and Erica gets a little shady with her. They talk about the whole, an Italian woman told her that she's Chinese.
My God.
A whole mess, child. Andy brings up Erica saying Sutton and Garcelle suck up to Kathy. Erica says it was just a shady question and I gave a shady answer, but she kind of does believe that. Kathy kind of she defends them. She's like, no, we're real friends, you know, like these are my real friends. Sutton checks in on me a lot, and so does Garcelle. And to be completely honest, when the cameras are not rolling, who do we see together on social media? Kathy, Sutton, and Garcelle. It's no shade.
Even now after the show.
Even now after the show.
You know, I'm gonna say I think Erica is the issue that Erica has with Sutton and Garcelle is Erica feels like she's a star, right? She's the main character. Because when her husband had the 50 million and she had the private jet and she was performing and nobody was paying to see her, but she was still performing. Right, $8 tickets in Vegas. But anyway, she still feels like she's that star, but she has no storyline for 3 fucking years. And now that the trial is over, your husband got convicted. What are we going to talk about next year, Erica? And I think that the what she doesn't understand is maybe like why me and Kathy haven't built a friendship, or why I can't be invited to all the parties. I'm gonna tell you why. Because Erica, no rich person or nobody with wealth likes somebody that every time they see something, they be like, oh my God, that's expensive. Oh, I wish I could have that. Oh, I need a friend to buy me one of those. Who does that? She does that with every rich friend. With Jennifer Tilly, with Sutton when they were cool, with Kathy, and with Diana.
You're clocking.
Clock it. Period.
You're never going to get invited to Kathy's house if every time you're going to see, oh my God, look at this napkin, touch it, it's so soft.
I know, because it gets
and then all the rich girls probably get together and start laughing at the fact that you be just so gagged.
Yeah.
Oh, she was like, oh my God, they printed on the napkins. Ma'am, I'm confused. Why are you doing this on camera? Like, you're not embarrassed?
And I feel like she tries. Erica, we talked about this in the reunion part 1 recap. Erica has this thing where she tries to come off very relatable. When she came on the show, she was nothing relatable of the sort. But now that she went through what she went through, she's trying to like rebrand herself as this relatable orphan that came out of the mud, that self-made, that went through hell, single mother, like all of this. Like she's trying to, like it's this rebrand of like, like I did it, so you can too. And like, I'm sorry, Erica, you're not that person.
Right.
You're not. So stop, because
you're so called the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We're not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be relatable.
I think Erica should be sent to OC. She can own a house over there.
But also, let's I want us to normalize some characters leaving the show when there's just no more story. But
this is her only paycheck. Why do you think?
But this is the business of reality TV is not a corporate job. You're not here to be on the show for 50 years, honey. This is not job security. You are here to give us a story, and when that story is no longer there as a business, I have to move on to the next story.
I agree.
Or if you're not giving story like Giselle Bryant hasn't gave in 9 years or had a man behind her in 9 years, you still move certain chess pieces within the group. You know what I mean?
Like Giselle Bryant has done.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But if your story is over, or you don't have a story, make way into the group where we're creating relationships, mending relationships, breaking relationships, or being the bone carrier. Figure out your place in the group.
And to be completely honest, if I knew that this is what you were gonna give me on this new season of Beverly Hills, I would have scrapped Bet on Blonde and whatever and all that footage that you recorded on Bet It on Blonde. I would have added it to this season and made that your storyline, because at least you would have had a full package. What was the point of that 2-episode special? And then your new season comes and you're showing nothing.
I think
Garcelle showed more than her. Garcelle showed her son's drug addiction. There was story there. Is Garcelle arguing and bantering with the girls back and forth? No. But she still showed way more story than Erica.
But Garcelle is not even that she has to banter back and forth, but she speaks her mind. And Dorit never likes what
she checks people.
And Kyle called Garcelle out many times for trying to be messy. But it's like, that Garcelle is her. Like, she's being herself. She's not putting on a show. And the difference between Erica and Garcelle is this season, Garcelle remodeled the home that she owned, and she remodeled a rental. So that's the big difference. That's why you can't take her. But second of all, I feel like Dorit is someone who literally every season, her storyline develops during that season. Like the season with Lisa Vanderpump. If it wasn't for that motherfucking dog, we wouldn't have had Dorit after that season. But since the dog was taken back and they accused Lisa and they dragged it for the whole, now she became Kyle's bestie. But like a Lisa Vanderpump is never going to give you messy. But Lisa Vanderpump is going to tell you how it is. She's going to show her lavish life, which is what people watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for. In Real Housewives of Atlanta, it never required everybody to be uber rich because they're interesting, their personalities. Everybody is just not that interesting. Everybody don't have something popping off every month of the year. So in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they don't all need that. But Erica, you don't have the lavish lifestyle. You only have one or two friends on the show. You don't film with the other girls. And you have no storyline. What are you really bringing besides your name? Which nobody's watching for you.
And to be completely honest, your mom is a cute little side character when she's around. I would have told your mom, baby, I'm filming for the next 3 months. You're moving in with me.
Make a storyline. Oh, my mother needs assistance. I'm helping her, whatever.
And it doesn't, and you know, like you don't even have to sit down and like, you know, create storylines, but bring fullness to your life while the cameras are around, so that like that there's the possibility of things developing.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm not a believer of taking an off season while you're on camera. You want to take an off season? Go on pause. You want to take an off season? Goodbye. You're not gonna take an off season on my watch.
Or what do you think of taking like not an off season, but you've been in the heat for so long, you become a friends of and pop in and out when you feel like it?
There's a way of being a Cynthia Bailey and not have to be a friend of. Right. Cynthia Bailey was a supporting character while holding a peach for years, and you cannot take away the fact that she needed that peach and that she deserved that peach. Period. You don't always have to be the one to lead the fight, or you know, but if you know what your position is within the cast, or you see that the other girls are taking it, then let me reposition myself.
Right.
Her staying out of the Dorit and Kyle friendship was actually a mistake. You are the bridge to that friendship, so you should be in the middle.
Yep.
And you should be trying to like make it get involved. We should see that. You trying to stay out of it, it's like, girl, so what else we gonna see?
Again, this is what happens when girls try to produce. Like Bryn in New York, that's what slapped Bryn in the face. You cannot be you're not a producer, bitch. You're a cast. Play the fucking role that you was casted for. Like with Erica, I think that what she was trying to do is make herself relatable to Dorit. It's like, bitch, Dorit would even compare yourself to her. Like Dorit is like, man, we're not in the same place. My husband is still out free. He's not doesn't have Alzheimer's. He's actually rich, and we can't really relate because I'm not ever downsizing to that because she clowned Sutton for living on the main road. You think Dorit is ever gonna say we're on the same? Like we're going through the same thing? Never.
Right.
So like, why would you try to even do that? That don't even make no sense. But I think the thing is that Erica felt like Kyle is the queen. So if I'm not close to her, or if I'm not befriending her and I'm actually calling her out, then I'll be interesting, or they'll keep me on. And it's like, this season, you barely did that. You didn't even do that this season.
But Sutton, the wallet, and the Southern manners. Ooh. Andy brings up Sutton interrupting Dorit about Jagger. Sutton says production made her do it. Dorit says, well, you're Miss Manners, remember? Aren't you Miss Manners? Dorit to Sutton, where's the woman who's threw daggers all season? The woman that didn't show up today. And to be completely honest, who is this Sutton in front of us? We've seen who Sutton is. And I have to call a spade a spade. Sutton is a different person in season than she is in reunion.
Every year.
I think that there is a level of anxiety that reunions bring to her that she does not know how to control. And maybe she's medicating in a way to help her anxiety and it's affecting her performance on stage. But Sutton is that student that does well the entire semester but fails the final.
Woo!
And I just don't know.
I mean, I think.
I just don't know if that makes a great housewife.
Sutton is a fucking great housewife, please. But I think what happens at the reunion is Sutton is somebody that likes to be prepared. At a reunion, you don't know who's gonna come at you. That's why Garcelle was like so surprised that she was the hot topic. Sutton felt after the season, after all the social media, that she was going to be attacked by everybody at the reunion again, like she always is. But she just needs to learn how to just go with it. Like, they're gonna attack you. You don't fuck with them, they're gonna attack you. Like, why do you even care? Like, it happens during the season. Why do you care about in the reunion? But wait, I want to point out that Dorit's accent finally came back at the reunion. It wasn't the other one though. It was a southern one.
I love her accents. It takes me out every time.
No, me and my friends have this joke that every season I give Dorit like a different nationality. So this season she's back to being white Dorit, but last season she was Latina Dorit.
Was
because she was wearing the brown hair and it was giving very much Latina. I'm like Dorit's Puerto Rican this season. I know that's right. The wallet war begins. Dorit says, "You don't live like the Queen of Sheba. You live in a fucking main road." That was a gag. Andy says, "So you're weaponizing her address, honey?"
Come on, Bruckner Boulevard, Richmond Avenue.
Dorit says, "There's more to life than money. You need to be nice to get love." And Sutton tried to feel unfazed by that, but I think that comment hurt because we've seen Sutton legitimately, explicitly say, "My mother doesn't tell me I love you," and that hurts me. So Dorit saying you need to be nice to get love, I definitely know that cut deep. Dorit claimed that Sutton's buy people. Sutton is like, "Who do I buy? What are you talking about, honey?" And she gets mad as Dorit is like, "You buy people, you buy people." And then that's when Dorit's like, "Here she comes. Here she comes."
She was waiting.
That was hilarious.
But then she cries when Sutton show up then, though. Like, you calling for her, and then when she call you broke, now she's, "Oh my God, everybody's saying you're terrible, apologize." Like, Sutton, it hurt, and I think that Sutton is, the reason why she's calm at reunions is because it happened months ago, maybe fucking 6 months ago. Like, why are we still upset about the same thing? But she doesn't understand that everybody else is going to show up like if it just happened. Like, they're watching the season. It just happened last week.
She don't get to play that excuse. No, she's not a newbie.
What I'm saying is, but we can't force her to have a reaction when she just does it. Like, she doesn't.
Well, actually, we can. It's the reunion, and you know you was going to film this 3 months later, so you better have a reaction.
But hold on. What would have happened if when Dorit said that about Sutton, right? This is what I don't like about Dorit, that she gets to say stuff, but when you say it back to her because of her situation, you're the bad guy. If when she was telling Sutton, "Oh, you are missing love in your life," and she would have been like, "Your husband doesn't even return your call, but he's texting Kyle," everybody would be like, "Oh my God, she's going through a lot with her 2 kids. She got PTSD from the robbery." It's like, but then when she's shut, it's like, oh, she's not reacting. But it's like she already knows she can't win, because when she called Dorit broke, that wasn't out of nowhere. She responded. She didn't pick a fight with her. She reacted to her, and you ain't like her reaction.
Responded to her talking about her having liquor in her cup, right? Like her putting the bug in the atmosphere that she's an alcoholic.
Again.
So
and then
again.
Dorit calling Sutton not nice. Whoever referred to Dorit as nice? Dorit and Erica have always been mean girls. Like, what are we talking about? Who calls Erica or Dorit nice? Or Kyle? Like, are we honest? Like, those 3, when they're together, they're mean girls. And when Lisa Rinna was there, that was the bully group. Like, come on, like, you're calling Sutton out for not being nice because she's not being sympathetic to you. You're not her friend. Y'all been beefing for years. Now, because you're going through a divorce, you want sympathy? I don't get it.
Well, it definitely feels like, we've hit a standstill when it comes to this group of women. I mean, we still have part 3 next week. We know that the Garcelle walkout is imminent. We know that Garcelle left the show. So far, we have Sutton, Kyle, Dorit, Bose, Erica, Kathy, and Jennifer Tilly. Looking forward a little bit, what any cast changes or things that you guys are expecting? How would you like to see Beverly Hills move forward after this season 14? Anthony?
I would love Lisa Vanderpump to come back. If she came back, she would sit all these bitches down. And her, Jennifer Tilly, Sutton, and Kathy will run it. But that's never going to happen. I think that they should just do it with the same cast. I mean, Erica's not going to get fired. I just know that. I just feel like Bravo feels like they can't fire her because they know that this is all she has right now. I just feel that. And the money is never coming back. And she's fighting a lawsuit for like $24 million right now. Like, I don't think they're going to kick her when she's down. Would they do that for everybody? No. But I think that next season will be good because I think now Bose is going to be forced to like answer some questions and forge some friendships because this whole season she was only really close to Dorit. And it's like, you can't tell me that Bose, I like Bose as a person and her own character and her own storyline. But when she's ever with Dorit, it felt like she had to protect her. And it's like, you don't even know their background. How are you always defending her when you don't know what she has done to these ladies? It's like not a fair battle.
Right.
And then they're not going to attack Bose because they don't have anything personal against her. Like they're trying to be friends with her, but then what am I going to argue with you, Andrew, at the same time? I don't think that was fair. So I think Bose had a great season, but I think next season is going to get deeper. She's going to show she's moving in. I mean, she's moving on further with that man. They're going through fertility, but she's actually going to have to forge friendship with the other cast. Justin?
I think that they should keep the cast the same. I agree that Erica Jane is not going anywhere. Hopefully she watches herself this season and steps it up next season. I'm over Jennifer Tilly and Kathy being on the show. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I think that I think one of the veterans should bring a friend to bring more story to their lives so we could see a whole nother part of their life, someone really close to them. And yeah, I hope everyone comes back except for Jennifer Tilly and Kathy. Like, I just don't like. Oh my God, Kathy is here. Like,
I mean, I'm sorry, like, I live for it, but I get what you're saying. But I want to ask y'all, like, do y'all think Kyle times is up? Like, if you're not gonna show Morgan, what is your storyline? I don't get it.
I think that that's the thing. I think that when you look at everybody individually, the timeline has ran its course when it comes to some of these storylines. Kyle, next season, if we're not seeing your love life and what that looks like and what we've been hinting at for the last 3, almost 4 years, I don't see the point of you coming back. I don't. And that's just me being honest. There's too much speculation about the fact that you're a lesbian that if next season we're not deeply going into that, what is the point?
What is the point?
Then you have Sutton. Sutton, I think, is the only person that can actually not bring any personal story because you know that she is going to do well in combat and she's going to do well with creating conflict between the cast. And she plays that part well. So I might not need too much personal story, but she still will give it to you. So to be completely honest, Sutton always earns her diamond. I just do feel like she does fall short when it comes to the reunions. Dorit, I think they're still there. Story there specifically with the fact that their divorce is not settled and it's going more. It's looking more like a divorce than a separation. I think that she has small children, and one thing about housewives with small children is that that's a big like thing to have because your small children affect the way that your entire life functions, and this divorce and how real is about to get may affect her children in ways that she's never seen before. And I feel like that is gonna make us see a different side of Dorit that we never seen before, especially when things start to get messy between her and PK during the divorce. Bose, like you said, Anthony, she has a lot of things to answer to, specifically with the way that, people feel that Bose and Kyle made some progress, but then ended up not really making that progress. So there's that there. Bose is still she's the only person that actually is in a relationship and is looking forward to marriage, and she's also in this natural, she's let go of the IVF stuff, but now she's going into the whole natural, trying to have a baby. So, and also, like, I do believe she earned the second season, and I think there's we need to cultivate housewives in Beverly Hills. That's something that I feel like we don't do there. So let's give her a second season. She earned it. And Erica, I think that if Erica is not willing to get back on the carpet about this whole situation that is going on with the $28 million lawsuit and yada, 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 and she's broke and this and that, if she's not really willing to get into that and she's not really willing to get into the paint, then that's another one that can get a shop too. Because without all of that, there's really not much to what we're seeing. And one resounding vibe that I got from Twitter, Instagram, all of the castmates across all of our platforms is that Beverly Hills was kind of boring this season, and that and ever since the Erica drama, no shade, it's been kind of boring. So they really need to revitalize this show, re-energize this show. I think that we're to a great start from this season, but the way the season ended has put us in a standstill. So I want them to get it right. I want casting to actually take it serious and give us a great season next year. But the characters that come back to play really matter. Gotta play.
I agree with everything you said, and I would say with Erica, the first time around, she did the same thing. Like I said, Portia, Karen did. Like, they don't want to talk about it. Talking about, oh, it's still in court, I can't make comments. There's nothing to talk about then. Like, what, we're gonna see you again self-medicate and just have tantrums every fucking episode? We don't want to see that again, right? And if you're not gonna date on TV and you're not gonna bring a mother, or what is there to talk about? Kyle, if you're not gonna talk about Morgan, but you're being photographed, that don't make no sense. Like, you're gonna keep on doing the Garcelle thing. Why are you bringing it up? Why are you bringing it up? And I think I will be here for Sutton bringing her mother on. Like, if her mother moves in with her, that would be a show, because her mother is like so fucking like blunt. She's blunt, a character that she don't even realize like how blunt she is. She just says what she says, and she don't understand why everybody looking at her crazy. Like when she opened that gift scarf from Garcelle, that was she said, what is this? What am I do with this? But I think if they gave, I love Jennifer Tilly is so interesting. I think she can hold the diamond, and I think if she held the diamond, she would open up more about her life. Like if her husband was on the poker competitions, that's interesting to me, because again, it's not like Real Housewives of OC or Atlanta where we're looking for drama all the time. We just want to see more of their life. But if they're not willing to like answer questions when they're called out, what was the point?
I have one last question for you guys before we end this. We started playing this game in our last RHOBH recap, but I wanted to bring it on here. We have this segment of Reality Fred After called Scene Stealer of the Week. Name one person or object that you feel was the scene stealer of this week's episode of Beverly Hills. Justin?
The crystal. Crystal stole the scene, stole the show for this episode, I feel like. Yeah.
What about you, Anthony?
That fucking chip.
Jennifer Tilly's chip.
Yep.
I think it was Kathy's chicken for me.
Oh my god.
I mean, or her gum on the actual couch.
Right.
He said, I just want to suck on it real quick.
Right. Woo! If crystals are cracking and diamonds are crunching, you know Beverly Hills is absolute chaos.
Period.
From Kyle's I've never been called a liar's delusion to Dorit trying to evict Sutton from Bel Air and Jennifer Tilly whispering medication conspiracies mid-bite, we got more drama in part 2 than, honestly, the entire season. Huge shout out to my guests, Justin Colon and Anthony Polanco, because honestly, tonight I need a backup.
Yeah.
Make sure you're following Reality Right After wherever you get your podcasts. Smash that 5-star rating and leave a review shadier than Erica Jane on Watch What Happens Live, honey.
Woo.
We'll be back next time to unpack even more Bravo, because if there's one thing we can count on, is this housewife being allergic to accountability. Until then, stay petty, stay pretty, and remember, don't ever text PK behind your friend's back. And always remember, all shade is fun shade. See you next week.
Bye.
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 Oh my God, that was so good.
You know what? You just made me remember. I was going to say that